Hey terrestrials, I've got another one of my amazing videos for you today, exploring some of the going-ons around the infamous Roswell incident and a man who had, if not all, most of the inside information regarding this incident. If you like mysteries, conspiracies, anything paranormal, then you're in the right place. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the video. Although the exact day of the incident is disputed, in early July 1947, a rancher by the name of Mac Brazel noticed something unusual in his pasture. Shiny, metallic debris stretched out over the dry New Mexico soil. At first, he thought it might be a downed aircraft, but the material was unlike anything he had ever seen. After reporting it to the authorities, the military quickly stepped in, first confirming that they had recovered a flying disc, then changing the story the very next day to it was just a weather balloon. What really happened at Roswell in 1947? This story would go on to spark countless debates and conspiracy theories for decades to come. According to the late Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso, this incident was in fact a crashed extraterrestrial craft. It was retrieved by the US military, and so were the bodies of what he calls EBAs, or extraterrestrial biological entities. Philip Corso was just a straight up beast of military experience, and he had a wealth of knowledge on many different topics. I'm going to list just a few of his credentials so you know what kind of man we're talking about. After joining the Army in 1942, Corso served in Army intelligence in Europe, becoming chief of the U.S. Counterintelligence Corps in Rome. During the Korean War, Corso performed intelligence duties under General Douglas MacArthur as chief of Special Projects Branch of the Intelligence Division. Corso was on the staff of President Eisenhower's National Security Council for 4 years, and in 1961 he became chief of the Pentagon's Foreign Technology Desk in Army Research and Development, working under Lieutenant General Arthur Trudeau. I think that anyone can agree that the positions he held are definitely of someone who is in the know when it comes to top secret information. It was the last position he held as chief of the Foreign Technology Desk, where he would get the bulk of his knowledge of the extraterrestrials, but we'll get into that later. Now, when we're talking about the Roswell incident, it's important to note Philip Corso wasn't at the crash site the day of the incident. He was actually at Fort Riley in Kansas, where he claims he came into contact with the body of an extraterrestrial. According to Corso, the body was being transported from Roswell to Wright-Patterson, and it stopped off at Fort Riley, where he happened to be the duty officer. Check this out.
So we went out, and I told him, "Where did it come from, Sarge?" He said, "Well, 5 trucks are coming through here from an airfield in New Mexico, and they're heading for Wright-Patterson Air Force." Now, in those days, there weren't all these big roads. Now, in those days, Route 40 was about the only cross-country route, and the route that they took was Route 40, going through Fort Riley, Kansas, and then up to Wright-Patterson Air Force. So one night, I was post-duty officer. Post-duty officer means that I was in control. For that night, I was the one that checked all the guards, checked all security areas. In fact, checked the whole post. I was the duty officer that night. And I went to the veterinarian section, and one of a sergeant I knew very well was sergeant of the guard that night. I told him, "Sarge, how's everything around here?" And he said, "Fine, sir." I told him, they told me to be careful to watch this area because you have a sense of something sensitive here." He said, "You want to see it, sir?" I told him, "Yeah, let's go look." And I knew the sergeant, right? He was a master sergeant. I went back, and there was 5 crates there, like 5 or 6, I think it was 5. I lifted one up, and here's this body there and floating in fluid. And
Okay, so as you can see from his testimony, he said he had already seen the extraterrestrial for the first time during the time of the Roswell incident. He said, as an intelligence officer, he put that information in the back of his mind and continued his career. So let's fast forward to 1961. Colonel Corso was given the position at the Foreign Technology Desk under General Arthur Trudeau so that he could take the information and the debris recovered from the Roswell crash and feed it to companies that are under contract with the military so that they could try to utilize it to make improvements to the current technology or even reverse engineer some of it. So far, sounds pretty familiar from what we suspect is going on to this day.
Do you believe, based on your decade of serving in the U.S. government on this question, that the U.S. government has in its possession any material from one of these aircrafts?
Um, I do.
Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso ended up writing a book in the 1990s, in the late 1990s, titled The Day After Roswell, where in it he claims the Roswell debris he was studying while in the Foreign Technology Division and feeding to the military contractors for reverse engineering eventually led to the inventions of integrated circuits, Kevlar, fiber optics, night vision, and even more.
They do. Uh, I know certain in 1947. Well, I did, in 1947. No, I'll back up. I saw the body then. I didn't see UFOs. The UFOs came into the picture later years, 10 years later, for me. And also, I worked out the omissions weren't any UFOs. In fact, George, I've even told you, I think, that I was not interested in seeing UFOs. I was all interested in what was in those UFOs. You know, I thought I'm not interested in seeing something fly in the air, but I like to know what's inside that thing.
Did you physically handle the artifacts from
Oh
the
yeah, I
craft?
had them. They were in my possession.
What things did you have? What did you have?
I had integrated circuits, like the size of a quarter. I had a bunch of wires. Colors were coming out of it. I mean, I don't say wires. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know if they were wires or any, they actually, well, I didn't know what they were. They just were emitting light. I had a piece of metal. Atoms were lined in it. So tough, paper thin, you couldn't break it, bend it, or anything. I had super tenacity fibers. That was, atoms were lined in it. You couldn't burn it, you couldn't cut it. And later on, the nearest thing in this world that we found that was a spider web. There's a spider spins an atomic aligned web.
Philip Corso was a fascinating man, a patriot, an author, and much more. But a liar is something I don't think he was. I think he would be proud of where disclosure is currently going, even though he was pushing for it really hard all those years ago. I want to thank you guys for watching till the end. I have much more content on the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. Until next time, I'm out.